We have a quick 1-minute sponsor video, and then I will introduce the session speakers.
Disasters don't wait, and when they strike, everything can change in an instant. That's where ATI Restoration comes in. For over 35 years, we've helped people pick up the pieces, restoring homes, businesses, and peace of mind. We're a second-generation, family-led company, built on trust, guided by purpose, and growing with care. Rebuilding communities, revitalizing businesses, restoring futures. We've welcomed 18 companies into our family, each one bringing their legacy, their people, and their story. Because at ATI, we don't just rebuild and restore, we build what's next. This is more than restoration. This is ATI.
Right, well, let's get into what you guys showed up for. I would like to give a warm welcome to Alexis Neidhart, Head of Brand Culture of Thomasville Restoration. She's a branding expert with 7 years of experience. She excels in creating authentic, my favorite word, brand stories, fostering team connection, and driving impactful campaigns. Passionate about mentorship and community service, Alexis blends creativity and strategy to deliver meaningful results. Warm welcome for Alexis. All right, and next is Terry Gwynn. She's Head of Strategic Growth at Thomasville Restoration as well. Terry is the Head of Strategic Growth and Operations at Thomasville Restoration, bringing over a decade of experience in restoration and insurance. She has held leadership roles as Contractor Connection and a specialty restoration network. Focusing on marketing, operations, and national accounts, Terry excels in fostering client relationships and driving business growth. Welcome, ladies. Come on up. And if we have time for questions, we always try to make sure we do. I'll just be you guys' mic runner.
I think we need to steal that mic back from you, Steph.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me? Yeah?
All right. Just wanted to check, because I didn't know if I needed a mic, but it sounds like I do. I guess we're all tired after lunch, right? All right, cool. All right, guys, so thank you so much for being here with us today. We are going to be talking a little bit about some of the stuff that we heard in the keynote speech earlier today. How great was Scott?
Yeah, great.
It was awesome. I think the RIA really is an amazing opportunity for us to connect, to talk to one another, to get to know each other, and to learn best practices. So that is what we're going to be doing today. So later in the presentation, I'm actually going to have you guys talk to each other, get connected, talk to one another, and learn best practices for your organizations and the things that you guys do in sales. So who we are. I had an incredible introduction, but my name is Alexis Neidhart. I am Head of Brand and Culture for Thomasville Restoration. We are based in the Mid-Atlantic region, and we are a full-service restoration company. What I focus on as a Head of Brand and Culture, just so you guys know, completely made-up title, but what I focus on is making sure that our teammates love where they work and the brand looks good for them when they are approaching our customers, especially in sales situations.
You got it.
So my focus at Thomasville is to work on growing. So not only growing revenue, which I'm a big fan of, but also growing our team, growing our expertise. I've worked with a few different companies. I think that I'm an exceptionally nosy person. And when I was with Contractor Connection, I got to know how every office in Maryland and Virginia worked. It was amazing. And I have seen some really good companies, and I've seen companies who really need to take advantage of some challenges that they're having and work with a mentor. But Thomasville, it's been a great opportunity for me, and I'm really honored to be up here, so thank you.
Thank you. So guys, one of the questions that I felt like I left with, and something that we all discussed as a leadership team together, was how is your company differentiating themselves in the marketplace? I know that they had mentioned that maybe 5 you're gonna pass one restoration company within 5 square miles. Well, with us, it's 5 square blocks. We have 4 restoration companies in our backyard within 5 blocks. So what is the thing that we have done to make Thomasville different? And so we're gonna talk a little bit about that, but then I wanna hear from you guys. We wanna take this opportunity, being in a room full of incredibly brilliant restorers, and learn from you guys as well. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about us, but then I can't wait to hear from you guys. So one of the things that I prioritize, like I kind of shared, is that I want to make sure that when our brand shows up, it shows up not only strong, but clean. As you can see, we make sure we keep our trucks clean, and friendly and engaged. And in order to create a brand like that, you have to have a team who is behind that brand and truly understands why we are doing what we're doing. So as you can see here, our founder and co-owner is all about making sure that our vehicles are tight and clean when they show up to the property, because the very first impression that your customers have is not your guys' uniforms, it's their trucks. But then, of course, uniforms are pretty cool. I'm sure you guys have seen a couple of these shirts hanging around the conference, right? Yeah. So making sure that you have really great branded material when you guys are showing up and that represents your brand well, shows that you care and shows that your team cares about how they're showing up. And then finally, and the most importantly, it's going to be the customer experience, how the customer experiences you from the time, excuse me. Oh my God. Goodness. Sorry. Yeah. Oh gosh. Thank you. My CEO, everybody. Oh. The customer experience. So this picture is what we call our Thomasville touch. It embodies everything that the customer experiences when they're dealing with us. So one of the things that helps drive your brand, and your brand is what people buy, right? Can we all agree that your brand is what people buy? So one of the things that drives your brand is your mission, your vision, and your values. And one of the things that's really important to our organization is that everybody from the top down knows what these are. Thomasville, what is our mission?
Putting homes and lives back together.
What's our vision?
Number 1 most trusted and respected.
You can clearly tell we didn't practice this, but our team knows it. All right, and what are our values, guys?
Family first, compassion, communication.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. So making sure that everybody in your organization knows why they're going the direction that they are. To have good salespeople, it starts from the top, so that everybody at the top is able to communicate down to all the way down to your techs who are helping you convert those reconstruction jobs, right? Making sure that they know what they're doing and why they're doing it. And what we call that here at Thomasville is the Thomasville touch. It embodies our mission, our vision, and our values, and the experience that our customers have when they interact with us. It's something that is so well known to our customers because it's so well known to our team that our expectation is to provide that Thomasville touch. So what we're gonna do today with you guys is we're gonna talk a little bit about redefining the word sales. I really appreciated the word, what are they called, word cloud? That was used earlier, because sales is something that's kind of scary. You're either really, really good at sales and you're probably in it, or you don't have this natural bone and you have to kind of learn. So I wanted to give you guys, the most important thing for Terry and I was that we came out and gave you practical application steps for you guys to use immediately within your business, starting tomorrow when you guys get home, or Thursday.
So we're going to start with redefining sales. We're solution-based. Can you guys hear me?
No, pull it closer.
Okay, so we're a solution-based industry, right? We go out there, we see a problem, we solve for it. So we want to focus from simply selling our services to really solving a problem and figuring out pain points. An example is a restoration company is offering not just repairs, but also proactive risk assessments. They're going through and they're doing, walking through a property manager's portfolio and finding out where all the hot boxes are, where the fire lanes are. So that's something with redefined sales that we want to talk to you about, adding value. What can we do besides being a restoration company?
How many of you guys do commercial restoration in the room? Okay, and how many of you guys do TPA work in the room? Okay. And then how many of you guys you only do residential through general marketing channels? Like SEO, and plumbers and those types of things? Okay, great. So we've got a really big split here. So, I'm gonna make sure that Terry is head of our commercial salespeople. So I wanna make sure that we're highlighting for you guys both commercial and homeowners. So one of the things that you just mentioned was that the importance of making sure that we're having these conversations with property managers and making sure that they know what to do proactively to avoid losses. But one of the things that you can do is when you're in the process of going through it with your homeowners is making sure that they know what the potential risks are. I mean, we guys know how many people are dealing with like roofing, getting a lot of roofing denials, not getting a lot of roofs covered for our reconstruction folks. Just Thomasville? No, there it is. I see some hands. So one of the things that's important is making sure you're taking the time to educate the customer that this issue of this slight repair could potentially be a full roof replacement that comes out of pocket later, right? So educational outreach goes right into it. One of the things that we like to focus on Thomasville is taking time to stop, pause, and inform. So whenever our reconstruction estimators are going out to the property, we are taking them through an entire digital presentation. And the reason that we do this is because one of the most important things you can do to educate a homeowner is to set realistic expectations, making sure that they are prepared for what that process is going to look like. Because with normal sales, you're selling a product or a service that's immediate. But within restoration sales, you are constantly selling that customer all day long until the duration of the project ends, because you can lose that job at any point, right? How many people have lost a job halfway through? Yeah, so you guys know what that feels like. So every day, your customer's experience is a selling point. The way that your team interacts with that customer and the expectations they set is a selling point. But another thing that Terry and her team does is host workshops. So talk a little bit about that.
So one of the best ways to show your expertise is to bring people into a room, feed them, and give them knowledge, right? So we can either go into a property manager's office and have everyone come in, we can have their maintenance people come in, but we want to give them something of value, and that's our knowledge, and we are more than willing to share it with them. It doesn't mean that we're gonna teach them everything we do because, we'll do it for them, but it does mean there are some things that they can do themselves or some things where they might understand better. They could also help with these educational seminars, basically limiting the severity of the claim that they have, knowing like when we've reached critical mass.
Yeah.
So these have been really helpful for us.
Absolutely. And when we were talking about this, when we were building this, you had some really good points about the importance of post-sale follow-up. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Right. So we have, people who go out, we get the opportunities that come in from TPAs or from our sales staff. The opportunities come in and they go on site that day. But as Alexis just said, we could lose that job tomorrow, we could lose it the next day, right? So we've implemented something that we call day 2 and 3 selling. And it is phenomenally successful. You go in, let's say you haven't closed the deal on day 1, you go in on day 2 and you're following up and you might get the sale at that point. But what we've also noticed is that, I don't know where you guys live, but our permitting process is pretty long.
Does anybody have an easy permitting process? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking like months, right? And that's an opportunity where maybe the insured starts thinking, maybe I could do it myself, maybe I could do X, Y, Z. So our salespeople are not the sell it, hand it off to operations, and move along to the next sale. Our salespeople stay involved with the sale from beginning to end. And that way we don't let these lapses where maybe the homeowner doesn't see that we're working behind the scenes. We don't let that impact our ability to move forward with that project.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and then finally, highlighting social responsibility. So if you have ever sat and talked to Leighton for longer, Leighton Healy from Know How, I think he's here somewhere, but I thought I saw him floating around. But he has an incredible study that I highly, highly encourage you guys to look into that specifically talks about why workers quit. So one of the things that he highlights within that presentation or within that book that he has is that the next generation of restorers that are coming up within this industry care more about certain things than the previous restorers. And one of those things is social responsibility. One of those things is that they want to be a part of an organization that cares about making a difference within this world. So this is a selling point for some people. And I think sometimes we get nervous communicating some of the things that we do because it feels like bragging and it doesn't feel good. But a lot of times the customers that you're dealing with want to know that you care, that there's something that's bigger than just that bottom dollar. And unfortunately, within our industry, we are lumped together with some of those bad actors and some of those bad contractors who have only ever cared about the money, who have only ever cared about getting a job done, and they haven't had the best customer experience. So an example that you guys could use is committing to eco-friendly restoration practices and sharing this commitment during the sales process. But one of the things that Thomasville does is we partner with our local fire department and we hand out smoke detectors. We do canvassing in low-income neighborhoods and knock on the doors. We test the smoke detectors while they're there with the fire department, and then we install them if they don't have them. And that's something that we share a lot because we call it our Compassion Day, so that's one of our values. But it's something that we share a lot because it's important that people know that we don't want to do the fire restoration. Unfortunately, there is a fire and it needs restoring, but the last thing we want to do is continue to hear about people passing away in fires. The lack of smoke detectors and the lack of functioning smoke detectors is the #1 cause of death in fires in the residential industry. That's terrible. We want to be a part of doing something that might potentially make a difference. Hopefully that we never have to find out though.
So those are some of the techniques that we use as we're growing our company and moving more into the commercial space. But what I found is that every customer is different, and you have to address every customer is different. If I go up to someone who's a big Orioles fan, and I click with them because I too like the Orioles, yay Orioles, right? But it turns out this guy is actually from New York. Like, I kind of missed the boat there, right? So we have to learn about our customers, and when it comes to restoration, we're learning about our customers on their worst day. So our customer-centric strategy is what matters most to that customer, because what matters to you is going to be different than what matters to you.
I'm gonna pull them closer.
So has anyone ever created a customer journey map, or has anyone ever seen a customer journey map? All right, it's a painful process, it is, but it is so worth it. What this is it breaks down what your customer is going through to the absurd, because you don't want to assume anything. So you get together with your team, and for instance, the first stage is awareness and trigger. They notice their dishwasher's leaking, right? So what are we going to be thinking, or what are they thinking? They're worried. We're just trying to understand where they are in that phase. The next phase would be the research and consideration. That's when they're going to go check your Google ads, right? They want to make sure that they pick the right person. They're going to do all the research. They're going to listen to whoever had a recommendation for them. And now they're getting a little bit calmer, but now there's a lot of uncertainty. So then there's engagement and the initial contact. That's when we got the phone call, right? And what are they feeling then? They're anxious. They feel like they don't know enough. The next one is the assessment and insurance coordination, and that's when we're on site, right? So we're walking them through, this happened, what looks like we should be able to get a mop it up and maybe put some wax on your floor is good. It's actually like, this is hurt and your cabinets aren't working. So the initial walkthrough can be very difficult for somebody who either called in and said that they have a couple drops of water and they have 2 inches in the basement, or they called in and said their basement's flooded and they have 2 drops of water in the basement. So this is a good time to walk through and kind of figure out where they are. Then we actually go into the restoration and they start to get a bit more calm and they understand what's going on. And then post-restoration follow-up and advocacy and long-term relationships. Every time that we go out and we service somebody's home and we make them feel better, we just added a marketing person to our team. So that's why we do that.
Guys, if you don't know how to go through this, please come see us after the fact and we can give you a little bit of guidance on how to do it. But God's honest truth on how we did this is we talked to ChatGPT. Like we wanted to know how much do we need to consider when we are walking through our process. We got all together as a leadership team, and you can see most of the leaders here, and we talked about it from each department. And the thing is, for our full service folks, we have emergency services, mitigation, contents, estimation, reconstruction, contents, and then the job's closed. So that's multiple departments, so many hands that could go through. And if a customer if we are not taking into consideration every single one of these steps that a customer is experiencing, we could be falling short and not even know why. It's really important. We would love to talk to you guys a little bit more about this later. So this is where we're going to talk to each other. So we're really excited about this. So again, we want to make sure that we are learning from you and you guys are able to learn from each other. So we're going to have some group talks here. I know that you guys probably don't want to talk to each other, but I really think this is the group that's going to do it. I believe in you. All right, so the 3 C's, it is, well, I'll cheat and let you guys know, but it's credibility, clarity, and connection. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stop on a word. I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple examples of how you can provide clarity during the sales and restoration process. And then I want you guys to get with each other, the people who are next to you, maybe spread out some teams, and talk a little bit about each one of these things and how you can provide them. So an example of credibility could be a restoration company builds credibility by showcasing certifications, your IICRC or your certified restorer certifications, customer testimonials, and case studies on its website. The impact that this has is a customer trusts the company's expertise, leading to more referrals and repeat business. Another example could be,
So on the sales side of it, if we're consistently delivering on our promises and meeting deadlines, if the leaders of your company are walking the walk, that's going to give confidence to your sales team. And that's basically the credibility part of it. Like, it's got to come from the top down. You can't just ask the world of your sales team and not the rest of the company.
absolutely. All right, so guys, get with your groups and talk a little bit about how you, in your industry, you guys prove credibility when you're working with your customers. Take about 5 minutes to do so. All right, guys, couple more minutes. All right, guys. Where is my lovely mic assistant? Don't worry, we have 2 more for you guys to talk about with your groups. So I got a chance to kind of hover around and hear some things. And I would like to hear what are some of the best practices on credibility that you heard from your groups. Can I see some hands? For those of you guys who want to share, I will call on you. Yes. Google reviews. That was actually something my friendly group over here talked about. Why are Google reviews so important?
Because that's the first place people go. They do the business, and they look at the Google reviews, and they review them. They review them, and then they go through them. And honestly, when we get a negative Google review, Alexis won't let me respond to it because I really want to most of the time.
Reputation management is also important for credibility. Don't let your owners respond to Google reviews.
Because lots of times it's a customer just doesn't want to pay their bill. But it's important to have those Google reviews.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Google reviews are really, really important. And if you guys are in a position to be able to encourage financially your teammates to get those Google reviews, I recommend it. Even if it's $10 for every good Google review. I heard one of my crews over here said that they get PTO hours. That's incredible. It's really good. Great job, guys. Who else?
Okay, so I do a lot of direct work with adjusters. And to build credibility with them, I actually have asked them to go out on jobs. I go on jobs with them. I learn what they do. I don't charge for my time when I'm out there with them. It's more of an educational marketing opportunity for me. But then taking it a step further, when they're too busy and they don't have the time to go out and do their job, then they call me and I'm able to charge for that. And the credibility is they taught me the way that they want it to be done, and that's the way I'm going to take care of them.
Great job, Wendy. That's amazing. Yeah, that's really great. Over here.
I'm gonna go. Right.
Oh, all right, go ahead, Will. Guys, don't make me rely on my team. I know you guys have cool ideas. We can't be the only ones.
Customer testimonial videos. We do a lot of large loss and court claims, but if you guys seen us on YouTube or anywhere online, you can go to our website and you can pull up real life customers that have been through the traumatics or the devastation of a loss, and they give feedback on every single department that they came encounter with and how we did. And they explain from start to end on how we treated them and on how the procedures went and how easy it was for them to get their homes and their lives back together.
And the best thing is that I actually have a couple testimonials videos where the customer's like, this was the worst experience of my life. It was awful. I did not know what was going on. I had no idea how to do an insurance claim, but when my contractor came in, they helped me go through it. And it wasn't always perfect because it's really important to be honest because you don't have a fake personality. You wanna make sure that your customers know you might not be perfect, but you'll make it right no matter what. That's how you show that integrity and that follow through. Can I have one more, please? Back here, this feels good, like one of you guys. How do you guys show credibility in your business? Oh, there we go, perfect. You guys got lucky. Don't think I'm not coming back, Huh? I will.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Jay with North Star Restoration over in central Wisconsin. So one of the, things that we do to show credibility is as our technicians are going through and getting their certifications, we have sort of like a wall of fame in our office when you walk in our front door. There's a big lobby area, and we want to put all those certifications up on that wall. We've got 3 triple masters on staff, so that's kind of like a flag in our hat. And yeah, so we have a large community room that seats about 60 people comfortably, and we open this room up to the public. And when we first launched it, we were like, why would anybody from the random public want to come and visit a restoration company? I mean, they really only come and see us if they've got either water or fire damage. But what we quickly found out is if you offer this space, if you build it, they will come, right? So we offer it to nonprofits, different trade organizations, do a lot of education. And what we see is members from the public coming into our facility, and they have to walk past our wall of fame with all of our technician, certifications, all of our different awards are on the wall. So it really builds credibility with the public that randomly they have no reason to contact you, but they're at our space for an event. So that's been pretty big for us, kind of like a cornerstone of our marketing is getting the public into our facility. And another thing that we do to sort of build credibility is if they have an event at our space, we try and get them on a facility tour during their lunch hour, and we walk them through the plant and we show them, this is how the sausage is made, so to speak. So once they get in the building and they sort of walk around and see what we're made of, a lot of times it's like, wow, we had no idea that you guys did all of this, and this is incredible. And if I ever need you, we'll give you a call. And so that's one of the things that we've done for credibility. Obviously, the Google reviews is huge. You got to do that, but following up with people and just getting them into your space has worked really well for us.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what a great way to make a social impact, especially, with you offering your space up to nonprofits that costs you little to nothing. Because how many of us, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people have a conference room or a training room where you could use that as an opportunity to give back to the community. That's great. All right, clarity. So a couple examples of clarity would be a sales manager sets clear and measurable goals for sales teams, such as monthly revenue targets, customer acquisition numbers, and specific actions like daily outreach goals. They provide tools and support, such as sales scripts and regular check-ins, to help the team meet these targets. And the impact for your teammates that you have is that salespeople know exactly what is expected of them, feel supported in achieving their goals, and are more likely to hit targets, leading to improved performance and increased sales. What that looks like in our organization is every quarter we have an all-hands meeting and we share the numbers. We make sure that everybody knows and everybody is celebrating when our team is hitting their goals. It is something that has been really impactful, and our team can see themselves in those numbers. They know that they were a part of hitting whatever that goal was for us. Another example is a company simplifies its pricing structure and communicates it transparently to customers. Customers feel more confident in their purchasing decision, and it increases sales conversions. This is really great when you're having these conversations with property managers who have 5 different versions of T&M sheets or 5 different versions of Xactimate line item pricing. If you can have clear and concise pricing that's easy to comprehend, that doesn't feel overwhelming when we have it labeled as things like dehumidifiers or air scrubbers or things like that, where we are able to articulate and define what these things are very clearly and concisely, it puts you in a really great place as well. So go ahead and get back with your groups or switch your groups up and talk a little bit about the importance of clarity and how you guys provide clarity within your organizations. All right, guys. So a couple things that I heard in the crowd when I was walking around. My friends back here in these really cool polos have an internal newsletter that they share with their team that talks about birthdays and anniversaries, big wins, nominations from coworkers to be recognized, but also cool things like how the team is doing, project statuses for some of their large losses. So that was really cool. What else did you guys hear in your groups? You guys. Jen, help me out. Was it something that we want to share with the group?
Yeah, my group went a little bit off topic, but maybe it's something that would resonate with everybody. How to develop a trust in the team and a trust in the process, to be able to begin to step back and reduce is micromanaging the word? And we sort of got into that avenue, and we're talking about the challenges of that and what it takes to get there. Thank you for listening.
Let's go. All right, guys, you're lucky we're getting close to the end, so I'm not going to call on anybody who doesn't want to be called on. I see a hand back there.
Hey everybody, Jay again here. So clarity.
Jay, you're MVP this session. Just know that.
So clarity, there's internal and external clarity. So internal clarity with our employees. We do something similar. We have a 90-day alignment meeting. So every quarter we get our staff together. We go over wins, losses, goals, stuff like that. We also have a Monday morning stand-up. Just to sort of go over any jobs or things that came in over the weekend. Similar to you guys, we have a big couple of monitors around the facility that celebrate birthdays, milestones, big jobs, maybe some standout testimonials that came in over the last few weeks. We'll get those up, so it keeps it as a constant reminder in front of the staff. For external clarity for like the client or the customer, we've created a couple of different process maps. So when we meet with them on the initial onset, we can sit down with them, sort of lay out what the process typically looks like for a water or fire mitigation project. Same thing with the rebuild side. There's an introduction or a handoff from the MIT to the repair side, and we lay out that entire process map for them on that side as well. A couple things that we do to help them advocate for clarity on their own is over the years we've hosted a lot of continued education classes for the insurance agents and adjusters. So we've audited those individuals on a lot of the frequently asked questions that they hear from their customers. And we've created like a top 10, list of questions you want to ask your agent, a list of top 10 questions you want to ask your adjuster. So these are a lot of the unspoken questions that a lot of customers have that you don't know what you don't know. So we help give them the tools that they need to at least advocate for themselves and get some of these questions answered. So we felt that when you start positioning yourself kind of as like the go-to resource, we may not have all the answers, but we can at least give you some of the questions that you might need to get the answers that you're looking for. It really helps solidify your position in the market and offer some clarity in a very chaotic situation to a customer.
I'll be coming to see you on what those top 10 questions are after this.
Yeah, we all need those.
Yeah, that's great. All right, guys, and finally, we are going to talk a little bit about connection, the importance of connection. So an example of connection is going to be a manager takes the time to have regular one-on-one meetings with team members to understand their goals and challenges. The impact of this is employees feel heard and valued, leading to higher engagement and retention. An example of external is a salesperson learns a customer's personal interests and integrates them into conversations, such as recommending solutions that align with the customer's long-term goals. The impact is the relationship strengthens and the customer is more likely to choose that company in the future. I always tell the story when we talk about the importance of understanding what matters to your customer. This was not us. Let me clarify this. But I did hear a story one time about a customer who had a blind and deaf dog. It was very important that everybody who stepped foot in that house knew that there was a blind and deaf dog in the house. Well, unfortunately, it was not notated. There was a gate and a busy road, and I'll let you guys figure out what that looks like. But that is the true impact of not having proper communication and connection and making sure you understand what's important to you. Another story I heard is, does everybody know that a red ribbon around a tree means? Well, one of these teammates didn't know about that. There was damage to a tree after a roof. So not knowing the importance of the things that matter to a customer can be very detrimental to that engagement. So why don't you guys talk a little bit about how you ensure that you're making connections with your customers and teammates, and then we'll wrap up. We're almost done. Did I say red or yellow? I meant yellow. Oh, guys, I meant yellow ribbon. I'm sorry. I'm staring at a sea of red. My bad. Yellow ribbon around the tree.
Thank you.
It's a memorial piece, isn't it?
Yeah. So this was actually one of our jobs like 7 or 8 years ago. We did a roofing. We didn't know that if you tarp, you tarp over top of a plant, it's going to die if it's in the heat, and it ended up being a memorial tree. Big lesson learned, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Communication there.
On the connection piece, so for all
You guys are doing great. Thank you so much.
was it a service member thing and somebody
So,
threw it?
yellow ribbons around the trees are memorials.
Right.
So they're typically plants that are planted for, a memorial. So what happened was that we were doing a roof and we had tarped over top the tree. And it was one of those like little ones, but there was a red ribbon around it. And we had tarped over top of it. Well, when you tarp over top of a plant, when you're roofing in the summertime, that plant will die. And
So
ended
it
up
killed
dying.
the tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something
Everybody fucks up, but if we had made sure that we took the time to know what that customer, the most important thing to that customer was, which was that tree in the front yard, then that could have been prevented. So, what about you guys? How do you guys manage connection or ensure connection in your businesses? That sounded like a buck passing. Hold on.
You have some good stories about how you do that, especially related to customer relationships, paying attention to what they need. He's very good at gift giving.
Oh, that's awesome.
Things that are important or special to them personally.
Yeah.
Canvas pop, I don't know if you know Canvas pop, so they'll take just a regular photograph and put it on a canvas like it's a painting.
Aww.
I engage a lot with our clients as the operations manager. And
That's
so
amazing.
Customer service, customer problems. But then someone will text me personally like, hey, I'm fishing with my boys this weekend, which just happens to be true.
Yeah.
And it was one of our senior property managers for a client of ours, sent me a picture of him and his sons on a dock on vacation. We had it blown up into a thing.
Oh, that's so
delivered to the home,
sweet.
didn't tell them about it, so they opened it up as a family and got it.
Wow.
We had another customer of ours send us their engagement photo from Tuscany, Italy, which we had converted into a canvas. They're getting married next week. We had a surprise delivery for them. Some of our customers can't receive anything from people just because it's a conflict. So we have to be very careful about what we can and can't do for gift giving and things like that. But sometimes little things that aren't necessarily a big gesture also.
That are high monetary value.
Right, and have a lot of impact because it's us being thoughtful to them and thinking about that. So that's what we're really focused on right now is making those long-term connections and meaningful connections. They talked about it this morning with the growth leader, that a connection doesn't necessarily mean that you're over the top dramatic or you're making a big scene of everything. You don't have to be crying, but you have to engage on an emotional level for people to understand that you care about them.
Yeah.
He talked about that a little bit this morning, so that's what we spend a lot of our time in our business working on.
That's amazing. Seriously, you never know what kind of impact that means and how important that could possibly be. Especially, it's like the best feeling in the world when you get a chance to do that, but you do it behind the scenes, and it's like a surprise. Like I just get so excited about it because it's like you don't do it for the glory, and I think that's really cool. Like I love that you are so involved that you know these moments and how important they are.
Ownership and the president helped provide that, right? If I didn't have
That's
the
great.
freedom to do those things,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be going out to handle this stuff. So it comes from the top.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with me. That's really cool. I might steal that idea, but we're on different coasts, so it's fine. Great job, guys.
Restoration of the spaceship.
Two more minutes. And then we have some special announcements. This is great. I love the clumsy guys. What do you mean? All right, guys. I heard some really amazing feedback on connection. You have to be a special kind of person to do restoration because it's an incredibly emotional job. So the groups that I got a chance to speak to, they really care about their customers, and that is an amazing, amazing thing to hear. I actually got to hear from a group over here who anytime they receive a very special photo or a very special moment from one of their customers, they gave 2 examples. One was a fishing trip, one was an engagement. They actually went out and purchased one of those canvases that you can get like photos blown up on and shipped it to their houses, just as a simple like, we are excited to celebrate you. And we're sorry that you're going through this this restoration job. But I heard we got some feedback from this group over here. I've been waiting for you guys.
So we do one-to-ones in our meeting structure. So you individualize the person and you talk to that person individually. But we also created something we call employee council. And that's where we vote in, like each teammate gets to put on a ballot and votes for themselves or one of their teammates. And at the end of it, we tally it up, and every year we create that employee council. There's 8 members for our group, and it's somebody from every department, and they get to talk about the problems in the company and come up with solutions for what they see from an employee level, what they are seeing in their department. So it gives them a connection back to what the company is overall, and then that comes up into the leadership team, and we discuss those issues.
Yeah, can we give a round of applause for those employees that get to feel heard there? That's amazing. As you guys know, your team cares so much about being heard and valued, right? Go ahead, Terry. Just pat it. I think that's what makes it turn off. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Here, use this one. It's okay.
My name is Amanda, and funny story, I just met Amanda right behind me, and we're actually both in Kansas, and I'm actually right in between her 2 markets, so we can be friends. So this is fun. But we took connection a different level. For me, I am 3rd generation of a small business, so representing the small guys, independent guys. And I'm the general manager, and connection for our employees means everything to me. My dad is a little bit more old school, so I think once I came on the team, it was a big shift for him to have someone that was like, you know, I want to be in your life, I want to know what's going on, how are your kids, how are your wife, all that kind of stuff. But it's made a huge difference, and even our employees have told me, you know, the world does not always bend for us, but I am willing to bend for our employees, whatever they need help with, family life, at work, where do they want to go, what do they want to do, they're running into issues. So just making sure they know my door is open, and I know they would help me, and so that's why I help them. And Amanda also had some great points.
Hello.
Amanda Squared, let's go.
Amanda Squared over here. So one thing that we use in our company is a software called Culture Index. And so our theory is right butt, right seat. And so before someone even is given an offer letter, they take this assessment, and we make sure that they're going to fill that role appropriately. So then when you do, you know, you're a good fit, you're the right butt, you're getting in the right seat. And then when we do have communication with that employee, we're able to, you know, really talk to them in a manner that they're going to be willing to listen to.
That's great. Guys, thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. Huh? Am I going to get a third Amanda to share? Oh, darn it. Thought I got it. I misplaced the clicker. Oh, perfect. Okay, hold on. All right, guys, so I really appreciate your time. We are almost done. We have one announcement to make, but just the key takeaways we wanted to leave you guys with is the practical tools like the customer journey map. So what we did is we printed out some worksheets. They're in the back of the room on the table, and those worksheets you guys can take back to your office with you. I have 100, but maybe one or two of you guys, or a couple of you guys can take it from your offices. If you guys want to figure out where your misalignment is, where you're struggling, where your customers may or may not have, are getting that full, insert name here, touch, Thomasville touch. But, and guys, it's all about progress. It just takes time. And I hope, did everybody leave here with something that inspired them? Guys, that's what the RIA is all about. That is why Thomasville is an enterprise member, because we believe in what they are doing here and how they are building connections. So guys, take advantage of all of the breakout sessions. Take advantage of the opportunity to connect. I'm ready to go. The opportunity to connect tonight, but it's progress. So just work on it one step at a time. I'm really proud of you guys, and please take advantage of the connections that you guys have here. Thank you very much. Can we give a round of applause to Terry? And then my girl Steph has some announcements.
We're just breaking all kinds of stuff here. Okay. All right, again, a round of applause for Alexis and Terry. Great job, ladies. Yes. And Alexis is on the planning committee with me, so she speaks truth about RIA. I would be remiss to let you go without reminding you of some important upcoming, obviously a break for 15 minutes, so run, get your coffee, your soda, but really important to all of us that worked on the planning committee is coming up next in the main ballroom, and that's from 3:15 to 4:45, and that is the special session and presentation of designation and industry awards. So people work really hard for these opportunities, but we're going to be giving out Volunteer of the Year, the Patricia L. Harmon Golden Quill Award, Contractor's Choice, Emerging Leaders, the Phoenix Award, the RIA Advanced Designation. As you guys know, that's a lot of work put in to get that. And then the Pete Conciliate Scholarship recipient, that is a huge award as well as the Marty L. King Lifetime Achievement Award. So go relax for a few minutes, make some phone calls, but please go next door to the award. It's going to be really important to everybody in there. Thank you again, ladies, and everybody have a great afternoon. See you tonight.